vagina monologues. So, does the vagina really talk? Have you heard them? You know, we've heard, apart from our mouth, our eyes talking, our heart talking, but really, does the vagina talk? You'll be really surprised. It talks a lot. And I think, you know, today's show of 2 hours will not be enough. We'll need a lot of it, but all the same. So, what are you going to hear today? Yes, you know, in the brochure does say stories of women empowerment. Yes, it is certainly there. Let me give you an example. You all have heard the story of Adam and Eve, the evolution of life. Yes, you must have. I'm seeing there's some nodding heads. The rule is actually very simple. A pole goes into a hole, can produce another pole or another hole. So simple. What do you call it? Making love? Having sex? Consummating a marriage? Fucking? Banging? Rape? It's the same thing, right? What gets produced is apple of my eye, the family heir, siblings for the family, a girl, a mistake, or a bastard. It's the same thing. It's how you interpret it. Our stories are something similar. You may say, vagina talks, gosh, she must be talking shit. No, well, maybe shit it is. And I can see some perplexed faces. Maybe you don't like what I'm saying. Maybe you're feeling uncomfortable. And actually, it's a good thing if you are feeling uncomfortable. Because there are many stories which can make you uncomfortable. Think. Sometimes you may laugh. If you want to, please laugh. Sometimes you may say, it happened to me. It happened to someone I know. It's okay. Just nod your head. If you don't like it, it's okay to express that. And if you are really perplexed, if you are disturbed, that's okay too. And whether you choose to like it or not, it is the truth. All our stories which you are going to hear today, they are real stories, actual stories, someone's story. The women came and gave us their stories. And sometimes they chose to give their name, and sometimes they were simply anonymous. And sometimes I just sat in front of them and I became the scribe. Most of the stories are all original stories, and it has been slightly adapted ensuring our timelines. But believe me, gentlemen, ladies, they are real stories. And who all are doing it? Have you seen their names in some magazines? Theatre tabloids? In the cinema halls? I see. No, they are just folks like you and me. Where will you see them? Maybe at workplaces, maybe at the grocery store, maybe at the park playing with their kids. They are regular people managing their day life, their day jobs, but here they are with the passion in their bellies to work for the cause, to be the words of the unspoken. Our youngest participant today is 15. Yes, she's 15, and our oldest is a retired person. And then we have everyone here in between. And you know how many there are? 22 of them. They all came by way of audition, which took place in the summer months of May and June. And 10 weeks of hard work is going to be shown today. I'm really privileged here to welcome our special guest, Honorary Consul General of Nepal, Mr. Marvin A. Brustin, Mrs. Brustin. We are really honored here. We also have our friends, our co-workers, personalities from the media, Jatinder Bedi, we have Vandana Jingan also coming in, and most importantly, our families, our friends, you the audience who spared 2 hours to be here with us. Just a couple of house rules as I indicated. Absolutely no photography, please. Give your cell phones a little break and just sit back, enjoy and relax. Our photography is managed today by MK International by Majid Khan and Trupti Patel. After can certainly take pictures. And there is no intermission. We have about 15 stories, no intermission, and they will all run back to back. So once again, welcome all of you to Ekjut's third presentation, Yoni ki Baat.
never forget the first time I felt less for being dark. I was probably 9 or 10 at a family festival. It was a beautiful summer day, but my friend and I had been inside all afternoon. After being cooped up for so long, we were starting to get antsy and bored. So I suggested we play outside. I can't, said my friend.
am angry. No, not angry. Furious. The helplessness, frustration, and social acceptability of it all anger my Yoni. No, don't dismiss it as just another feminist thing. It's more than a thing. These are fragments of our fucking lives. They burn, they hurt, and they sting. Yet we swallow them all. You swallow them. But can you digest this? This happens all the time. But no one wants to talk about it. I had an uncle, an ugly, unassuming, unattractive uncle. He would peep through as I was trying to change. No, please don't come
mostly Didam, and added input by Shuti K.
I like to eat and sleep. I love to drink. And I enjoy taking shots and staying up all night to party. I like to wear miniskirts and dance at the tabletops at bars. I cannot cook Indian food except heating up Maggie. I enjoy my independence and like making my own decisions. I will always choose my career over a husband, and I will not tolerate your mother. Will you marry me? I would say shadi karoge. Can this be included in my dating profile? No. Ever since I was 24, my parents had one goal in mind. A husband. I got a good job and was ready to explore the city. But my parents were really concerned for my future. You know, not the future in terms of my careers and goals. It was a future where they could see me happily married with a tall, handsome, rich Indian boy who could take care of me. But finding a husband wasn't on my agenda. According to my parents, it was a natural progression expected of me. I was to study hard, get a job, get married. Simple. And by the way, there's a timeline for these things. If I don't get married by 25, my life would be considered incomplete. And despite my other accomplishments, I would be a disappointment. So here we are. I am 29 and not married. Frustrated by my inability to meet the correct marriage timeline, my parents proposed a solution. Shadi.com, the matrimony site to find a husband or a wife. We had heard of a lot of success stories of people finding their perfect match. My parents demanded I create my profile. They were really worried that I would miss my chance of getting married. Because, you know, Indian guys will find me attractive after 30. After months and months of resisting, I said, fine, I'll give it a try. How bad can this be? Online dating is a great way to meet people. If anything, I'll make some interesting connections. Well, that started the process. First step, profile. You have to include your age, height, weight, body type, annual income, skin complexion. Yeah, you heard me. Skin complexion. It goes very fair, fair, reddish, reddish medium, reddish brown, dark. Have you seen Indians lately? Most of us are from chocolate brown to burnt toast. And are we considered sweet? And what am I considered? Dark chocolate? You also have to include your family history, harking back generations. Things like your father's job and income, your grandfather's job and income, the job and income of your second cousin twice removed. Anyways, I completed my profile, and that started a slew of hundreds of guys that I came in contact with. Here are some of the messages I received. Are you a homely girl? How much land does your family own in India? I'm pretty well off, so you don't even have to work. Can you cook? One guy just gave me his PowerPoint presentation detailing his family history, his astrological chart, his birth date to the second, and his resume. What a better way to woo a girl than a romantic PowerPoint presentation. After many, many conversations and dates, I
Next day, put my hands in, took it out, gave it to her. Still no fungus, nothing, it's fine. Oh my God, I'm really frustrated. What's going on? Third day, I have to do it. Rolled up my sleeves, put both my hands in, touched every pickle I touched. Really touched every pickle. Then gave it out to my grandma. Grandma, is it okay? She said, yeah. Eureka! The pickles got spoiled by a wet spoon and washer, and not because Aunt Mansa visits every home. Got it, ladies? But today, I'm 48 years old. Last year when I went to my doctor, I had suddenly seen my weight gain 8 pounds in 6 weeks. I thought I was changing. The doctor told me, don't worry. So you were bitching about your Aunt Mansa all these years? Be happy. You are having menopause. But I'm not even 50. And how forgetful could I become? When did Aunt Mansa miss me? And I don't even remember. With menopause, what came? Hot flashes. You are sleeping, and all of a sudden your body trenches in sweat, and 20 degrees more. All you want is to jump into the bed of ice. Menses, menopause, hot flash. If that was not enough, people, my Yoni gave me a lot in all of these years. Acne, crabs, periods, 2 beautiful daughters, then menopause, hot flashes, and the last of it, menopause, not a monster. All the fats started to build in, coming here. Doctor said, Pam, take care of yourself. This is your gift, your party gift from your I love my Yoni, but not to this extreme. I said I'm going to fight with it. I fought with her, I started to run. My Yoni was trying to give me a message to take care of myself. And here it is. See, today I ran the half marathon in Milwaukee. I went there in the morning, came back at 12, and here I am. See? So today, after size 12, I have come back to size 10. But I still have to fight. Hey Chris, you got to sign up for that half marathon in November. I have to come back to my size 8, and then I'll see you there. So folks, until then, see ya.
Fucking beautiful. Lakshmi P. and Ravipala S.
Today, I decided to come out and tell my Amma
one for her.
And man, is this the most romance ever? Do you know what Rahul did on our first date? Just a kiss on my cheek. Really? I mean, look at me. Just a kiss. It gets better. By the third date, we were just reading erotica to each other. This guy hasn't even touched me. What the fuck? Actually, correction. Where is the fuck? When I look into his brown, potent eyes, I must admit, my heart gets fluttery. But then, I also want to jump his bones and get into bed with him. Oh well. But I will admit, the whole feeling of anticipation, waiting for something to really build up that could be explosive, is priceless too. And when it finally happens, oh my, I want to share the details with my mom. I have a funny feeling she's going to enjoy all those details that come with it. You know what happened the other day? When she walked into my bedroom and she saw this Kama Sutra portrait on my bedroom, I was all ready for her to tell me, Pooji, what is this? But instead, she looked at it and she said, Pooji, this portrait is also inviting the romance in your life. Oh, my Yoni feels so liberated now. It's as if she found her voice that she has always craved. Now, even I feel like those teenage 16-year-olds who can talk to their mother openly about birth control. They are not crazy. It's just so liberating for us to share our sex lives with our mom.
I want to support my daughter. I want it to be easy for her to talk to me about everything. I have learned Instagram, I've learned Google, I've learned Facebook to find out what is going on in her life. And now I know more about my neighbors, my friends, than I've ever knew. But no, I love my daughter. And I want her to be happy with the man she loves. But I don't want to know everything about her life. The Yoni needs boundaries too.
Oh, Amma, I can't wait for the next 30 years for us to catch up on the rest of my sex life. Man, it's going to be so messy. It's going to be so explosive, and it is going to be so fucking beautiful.
An original story by Pramila Kumar, Anika D, Sachin L, and Nidhi S. Why are you not listening to me?
Bye. Bye, guys. I wasn't always like this. I knew exactly who I was. A smart, confident, and a beautiful young girl. It was so clear-cut. It's amazing how one incident in our life can change that understanding so quickly. Wasn't any special night. The guys from my work group had decided that we go out, have drinks. You know, the legal lady call it.
economic privilege that couples enjoy. Because they get to share their expenses, expenses like food, rent, lodging, etc. Seems reasonable, right? Right? Well, they kind of tend to extend their privilege to things like giving presents. Well, a couple consists of two people, right? And two people go to a party, but they get only one present. Just one. Okay. Well, this 2-for-1 special extends beyond gift giving. It's pretty prevalent in social gatherings like potluck. Again, two people, one dish. Whereas I have to do everything on my own and then get that one dish. No, not fair. No. Well, from what the couple literally brings to the table, there's this constant fussing over itself. Oh, did you try the peach cobbler? Oh, honey, did you get the wheat salad? Since when have adults been incapable of making their own goddamn plate? Since when? Really? And this incompetent and inconsideration carries itself into shopping excursions. I never really understood why do couples have to go shopping together? Really? Why? But even if you do, fine. But why? Why, for the love of God, do you want to go into aisles, argue, cock block the cheese section, and tempt me, normally an extremely dinner, dress up, be alone, take a hike in the forest. You know, go stare at the ocean for crying out loud. But just be with yourself. Learn to love yourselves. And if you love yourself, you will automatically, give love to others. Really. I mean, I do hope that I'm able to extend my love in a romantic capacity to someone, but not at the cost of my independence. My independence is essential. My friends are essential. My life as it is essential. So no, I'm not gonna, put that on a side burner and just make coupling such a priority. No, I'm not gonna do that. And well, as my Yoni says, sometimes no action is better than bad action. Think about it.
Original story by anonymous Serena Williams. 9 weeks and a day.
Deep inside my precious Yoni rests a story I call 9 weeks and 1 day. I discovered over dinner one night that my friend was pregnant. Driving home, my mind was racing. This is so huge. Is she really ready? But it was obvious that her and her new husband were definitely ready. In the weeks that followed, I had trouble coming to terms with the fact that my friend was entering motherhood. I felt young, nowhere near ready to become a mother. I felt immature, somehow behind the curve. All of a sudden, I was reflecting as if there was something wrong with me, or I wasn't married, or even sure if I wanted marriage or children. I am 33. These feelings followed by a thorough analysis and lecture to myself as how there was no such thing as being behind the curve, and how these feelings led women, particularly South Asian women, to believe that we were supposed to be married and supposed to have children by a certain age, ideas that I despised and fought my entire life against. Besides, I kept telling myself, this is her pregnancy, her lifestyle. This has nothing to do with me, and I shouldn't make it about me. If I wasn't ready, I wasn't ready. I was happy with my life the way that it was. There's no shame in that, and it didn't make me any less of a woman. My job now was to support her. 4 weeks and 4 days after that night, I realized I was late for my period myself. Late? Me? How is this possible? On a whim, I went to the drugstore and bought a home pregnancy test. On the way home, I felt ridiculous for buying the stupid test. How could I be pregnant? I had been careful, hadn't I? It didn't make any sense. My friend's pregnancy was affecting my thinking. The test stayed in my purse for almost 2 hours. I almost forgot about it. I finally decided to get it over with during a commercial break of the Food Life. I ripped open the box, peed on the stick, and went back to the TV. A few minutes later, I walked into the bathroom, still chuckling at myself for being so paranoid. Shock, horror, and despair do not adequately describe the feelings that overtook my body when I saw that plus sign in the results window. My body shaking, the world literally spinning around me. I called my partner in tears. waiting in a clinic for my name to be called so I can terminate my pregnancy. Yes, people, terminate my pregnancy. Terminate, like the Terminator. Terminate my pregnancy. So clinical and sterile. It's an unemotional phrase, void of any depth or feeling, expertly failing to describe all the pain, guilt, confusion, and fear that surrounded that entire process for me. I constantly questioned my womanhood for choosing to end a pregnancy, the supposed miracle of life, the supposed reason women exist. This was not a planned pregnancy, and my partner and I were not ready to have a baby. I wish I could say it was an agonizing decision, but we went back and forth, weighing out the pros and cons of having a child that seemed this bean-sized concoction of cells growing inside of me become our baby. I really wish I could say these things, but I would be lying. It all felt and still feels like a really un-South Asian way to feel. This is not the mold we are taught to form as women. This is not a situation I am expected to be in. I remember thinking that this cannot be me. And here I am, 7 weeks and 3 days pregnant, waiting to end my pregnancy. It was hard not to think about my friend. She was in the same situation as I was, and she was so happy and excited, and I was so far from that. Instead, my Yoni and I felt very alone, guilty, confused, and scared. I felt like less of a woman scraping the cells off my Yoni, like a murderer. And I also felt relieved. Yes, I felt relieved and thankful that I had options. It was hard to admit it then, and it's still hard to admit it now. A close friend of mine told me to focus on being thankful and appreciate the women who fought to make this choice available. Yet my guilt prevented me from being gracious. Lucky is not a word I would have used to describe my situation at the time. But looking back, I can see that in many ways I was. You see, all my life I have fought to define what it means to me to be a woman. A feisty woman, a progressive woman, a rebellious woman, a strong woman, a seductive woman, a sexy woman, a compassionate woman, a courageous woman, a loving and lovable woman, a creative woman, a generous woman, an open woman, and a happy woman. Yet to be any of these things, I need choice and power. The choice and power to make decisions free of judgment, fear, and oppression. Only then can I feel fully like a woman. That is the true essence of womanhood to me. And perhaps that is why I can stand here today and say yes, despite the fact that I could have a baby and chose not to. I am just as much of a woman. WOMAN.
Basically, the entire universe and its limitless wonders. So cheer up. It's all going to be just fine. Who cares about that marriage that never had any romance in it? That creep had no to say, I was fat. Do I look fat?
Yes.
You got to be kidding me. You did a job and all the housework all alone, and you are always up to
should get a biopsy done as soon as possible. I was in total shock and disbelief. Cancer? Oh my God, cancer? How is it possible, doctor? Nobody in my family has had any kind of cancer. And then I thought, what if it is cancer? Oh God, please, no, please, God, please. I'm only 30 years old. I have 2 little kids. I want to see them grow. I don't want to die. But then, maybe it's not cancer. Yeah, maybe it's just a false positive. I don't think it's cancer. And then, I was so afraid. So many thoughts were going through my mind. This hope continued until the results of my
without the love, support of my husband, my children, and those few friends who have often lent me their shoulders to cry on during down times, during pain. Without them, I wouldn't be here, healthy and strong. And for that, I'm thankful to them. All I can say to all of you out here, anyone going through a similar experience, who has a family member or a friend going through this experience, I'm here. I'm here to support you. I've gone through this. I feel the pain. I know your pain. I'm here to support you. I can guarantee you, you have my shoulder to cry on. And remember, there is hope. There is hope. Thank you.
Original story by Mohan Kumar. Learn to read, Rashmi N.
It's 7 a.m. and I was very nervous. We were in Canada, Windsor, Canada. My partner Erica and I were walking from our hotel to the law school building, where the international moot court competition was to start in a few weeks. I don't know if it was the biting cold or the sheer nervousness that made my knees weak. Erica and I had been preparing for this date for several months now. We knew the material inside out. We also knew that we had a winning argument, but still, my stomach felt heavy and weightless at the same time. I reminded myself this is how I feel before any competition, and that I would be okay. But what if I forget the main argument? What if I forget which cases to cite? What if I forget where I was supposed to sit? Oh my God, why didn't I already know this? I have been in freaking law school for more than 2 years now. I should know this. But then again, I also knew that a competition included these two young male lawyers from Harvard who were really sought after. Was it competing against them that was making me so nervous? My mind was racing and I just couldn't keep up. I told myself, you can do this. Priya, you can do this. I can do this. Once we went inside, I stood at the entrance and took stock. I feel if you look at your surroundings, you can be more comfortable. But I looked at the competition. They were dressed in their Armani suits with their piercing blue eyes, looking smug and confident, and I started feeling scared. My legs started feeling naked in my skirt suit. Should I have on pants? Would that have made me more confident? I went and sat down next to Erica. At least she knew where to sit. Time had come. I got up and addressed the court. I argued and advocated in favor of my client. Forgetting who I was and where I was, I took charge of the case. All I could think of was the client. I answered all the questions. I thanked the judges and I sat down. 3 hours later, we were in the auditorium, waiting for our awards to be announced. I'm sorry to disappoint you folks, but neither one of the teams won that day. But come on, we already knew that going in. Then, there was another announcement. The judges wanted to make a new award, the Best Speaker Award. They all rated with bated breaths. And then suddenly, I hear my name, Priya Thakkar. I was shocked. I was surprised. I was ecstatic. I couldn't believe it. I looked at Erica. She was beaming
princess live happily ever after, or at least they get to have an elaborate wedding, are all part of my dream life. In some ways, they put me in this la la land, as my folks feared, but in some ways, they have mirrored my life and answered my what ifs. Sometimes I feel my life is even more theatrical, comical, silly, weird, and more dramatic than any soap opera. You know, these Saas Bahu TV serials? Yes, I am a Miss Congeniality, or an Anjali Sharma, wearing high heels and a yellow suit, batting her eyelashes, trying to seduce her hero, looking like a total cartoon, but still living in a fantasy land of yearning and longing for love. As most teens, I saw DDLJ, you know, Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge, and Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, and believed that life was about meeting someone in Europe, me and my Janu, my Romeo, wearing the same colored clothes, and him coming down to India to chase me.
लड़की बड़ी अनजानी है, सपना है सच है कहानी है, देखो ये पगड़ी बिल्कुल ना बदली, ये तो वही दीवानी है।
But my hopes were shattered. My Janu dumped me. You know why? Because he didn't want to wear the same colored clothes as I did. Nor did he want to get drunk and run in the colorful tulip gardens, or buy me the red Chanel dress, or go on romantic weekend getaways. Seriously? Is that too much to ask? I thought Bollywood style things would be different for me, and I also would get my big fat Indian wedding. But there would be no matching horoscopes and Buddha who said Baat like Amrish Puri. I also thought, हम एक बार जीते हैं, एक बार मरते हैं, शादी भी एक बार होती है, और प्यार भी एक ही बार होता है. Anyways, I'm sure life is going to give me a second chance. Remember, just like Kareena Kapoor in Jab We Met, will there be someone like Shahid waiting in the train compartment for me?
ये इश्क हारे बैठे बैठाए जन्नत दिखाए ओ रामा।
Wake up, girl. Life is not a Bollywood movie. You don't always get what you want. But then, I really thought that if I was this seedy, sawdy, oldie, innocent Bollywood girl, you know, like Bhagyashree in Manicure,
मुझसे शादी करोगी, हो मुझसे शादी करोगी।
But then, Karan Johar made Kabhi Alvida Na Hena. Gang, as we used to say. That movie gave me an enlightened lesson. It proved my point that shortchanging, compromising, or not being attracted to someone before marriage will definitely lead to marital destruction. No, I am not saying that an affair will happen, but there will be no emotional attachment, and then the so-called affair will be with your kids, your work, your romance novels, your kitty parties, and your Bollywood movies. But not with your spouse. Thanks, Karan. I owe you one. Thanks for coming to my rescue. Really. Oh, I'm glad I didn't tie the knot with Mr. Punjab Power, the guy Miss Chachi solicited for me. At least I saw what would have happened if I compromised. But then, I wonder how the end of my film will be. I like comedies, tragedies, satires, but I can't stand cliffhangers or open-ended stories. Do I live life and accept it as que sera, sera? Or do I watch episode after episode of How I Met Your Mother and imagine I'm starring in my own show of How I Met Your Father? Or maybe I should join the Hare Rama Hare Krishna mission wearing a yellow brahmachari sari? No, just like Ross and Rachel in Friends. Maybe I should find any John and elope to an Elvis chapel in Vegas and make multiple babies. Well, so far in my journey, I think I've accomplished a lot. I ended up going to Europe all by myself. I got an additional degree. I even went skydiving and have settled in the eclectic Bay Area and made many, many close friends, and some of you in the audience today. But there are days when I feel sad, regret that things didn't go according to my plan. But what can we do? Kabhi khushi, kabhi The good news is, at least in this Bollywood la la land of mine, I get to wear a sexy red sari, get drenched in the rain with my pallu falling, and Sharo serenading and dipping me. All my Yoni wants is entertainment, entertainment. She's seeking some romance, some song and dance, and some bang bang. You know what I mean? So I'm still here, waiting for my true Hollywood or Bollywood love to show up. Oh, dashing Hrithik, where are you? Oh, Mr. Clooney, where are you? Oh, Sharon, oh, John, oh, Shahid, where are you?
कोई दिल में काबू कर गया और इश्क दिल में भर गया